Chris Aceto back by unpopular demand after 2 weeks AWOL, and me and Dave will see you at the Teen and Masters Nationals in beautiful Pittsburgh in a few days.
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
And we're back for another installment of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we're joined again after a 2-week hiatus. Chris Aceto, welcome back from your vacation. You feeling refreshed, or you actually more tired?
I am unequivocally twice as tired as prior to leaving. When you go on a family vacation with 2 younger kids, and you are an older father, sometimes mistaken to be a grandfather when you're with the youngest, and you're on the playground with other fathers who are in their 20s, then you come back from vacations needing a vacation. So tomorrow, in a few hours, I'm going to fly out to Pittsburgh to be with my second oldest at the Teen and Masters Nationals, and
me. And hey, you're gonna hang out with me for the weekend.
And Jose Raymond. It's going to be fun.
What's Jose doing there?
Yeah, Jose's going out there Tuesday. He's got someone in the Masters.
Oh, okay, good. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blast, and we're staying at the same hotel.
You could do a wrap up with the three of us.
Yeah, that'll
be great. Yeah, I'm actually, Chris, because I drive myself like a slave master, even though I don't really.
I know you do. I know.
But I'm not as old as you. You're about 6 months older than me. But I took 3 kids away to Orlando 2 weeks ago, and all by myself. Three young ones, and I ran them into the ground. They were begging for mercy.
Let me make a prediction, Dave.
What?
Did you go to Disney World?
I went to SeaWorld and some of the SeaWorld, like aquatic, all the SeaWorld associated.
Please don't tell me you had like backstage passes for SeaWorld and got to.
No, we swam with the dolphins at Discovery Cove.
But Dave, you probably like to exhaust the kids so that you could get them into bed and then get to work till like 2 a.m, right?
No, I didn't work that week. Believe me, I ran them from the minute we woke up at 6 a.m. till like 10, 12 o'clock at night. They were like, they couldn't even keep their eyes open. It was I ran them so hard.
Yeah,
but it was fun. You know what it is? Because like I said, I don't stop doing stuff all day long. I seem to have very good endurance. And I swim at night so that I can keep up with them. Once the kids are grown, I can stop doing all my all this training, and I'm training so that I could be better than they are. You know how like my grandfather used to tell me that when my father was young, he really didn't have much of a high school education at all, because no one went to school back then. So when my father started first grade and he was doing math, he would read the book, the lesson plan, like a week before. So he was 1 week ahead on the lesson plan so that he can keep ahead of my father. So that he looked like he knew what he was talking about. He would help him with his homework. So that's what I am. Anyway, Ronnie Coleman is awake and alert. That is a very, very good news from the bodybuilding world, because we were a little worried about Ronnie. We don't officially have any word as to what happened, but obviously there was something going on with as far as an infection goes in his body. He was septic. He was in some sort of a coma. He looks like he's smiling, obviously, because Ronnie's always good. But you could tell Ronnie's looking a little beat up there. He's certainly going to take some time probably to rehab himself and get himself back in working order again. But the fact that he's alert, he's awake, that's very good news, and I'm happy to hear that. Because there's probably not a nicer person or more genuine person in our industry.
Well, you can add, Dave. You can add to that just generous too.
Yes.
There's the Coleman stories. That I know people that he's helped out big time.
Yeah. He's bought cars for people and helped people.
He's negotiated. He's helped people get contracts who probably would not have got. Well, let me back up. They would not have gotten contracts if Ronnie didn't put in the call of, this is Ronnie Coleman. I know you're interested in, Dave Palumbo for Species. I think, it's a good fit.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, he's just he might be the most, and I'm not just saying this because of what he's going through. I think he might be the most genuine person in our industry. I really don't think that he has a selfish part of him. Obviously he's been blessed with the physique he's been blessed with and his work ethic, and he's achieved a lot and he's made a lot of money. I don't think he's made ridiculous money. I think he's made money to make himself comfortable, but he has no problem sharing it with people who are less fortunate than him. And I know he definitely, like you said, he'll overextend himself and go out of his way to help people. That's just the kind of guy he is. And I think that's why he's, when he has these things happen, because we all have events in our life. Some people can overcome them. Some people allow them to overcome them. He just has a great attitude about life. Steve Weimer and I once discussed this, and we said, you know what? Steve said to me, this guy's going to live forever because he has no stress in his life. Nothing bothers him. And he's got that attitude like, look, I'm gonna beat this. I'm going to overcome it. And you know what? A lot of people ask me, how do you get through all the tough stuff in life? I said, I use Ronnie Coleman's my hero. I look up to him when the chips are down. I say, what would Ronnie do? And Ronnie would smile, right? And he would just find a way to get through it. And that's exactly how I run my life. So thank you, Ronnie, for all you do. But so I'm sure we're going to get more information as it happens. But right now, that's all they're not really releasing a lot of information about what's going on, and that's probably because maybe they don't even know. I don't think they know how he got this infection in his bloodstream. Sepsis, Chris, is when and it can happen like from many different. It could be as much as I don't want to like throw anything out there, but it could be as simple as picking it up in the gym. Sometimes these gyms are disgustingly dirty, and you touch your hands to the machine, you wipe your eyes with it, it gets into your bloodstream, and before you know it, you got some kind of weird, bacteria. And sometimes if your immune system is not functioning at 100% and it takes over, before you know it, you could be in big trouble. So that could be as simple as that. Now, I don't know what the secondary issue was, which I heard was something heart related. I don't know if he needed some kind of a stent. I'd be talking out my butt if I even speculated. So I don't know, but I think it was something heart related. He had something, but it was obviously not so much of a big deal because he seems to be awake and doing well. So I like to hear that. I've talked to some of the guys over there in Texas, and no one seems to really have an exact idea of what happened. Either that or they're not talking. So I'll respect their privacy at this point in time, and we'll see what transpires. I'm sure at some point Ronnie will get on camera and do some sort of.
Yeah, of course.
Did you see that The Rock had something wrong with him or something like that? He thought he had a blockage in one of his coronary arteries.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, the left circumflex artery, which is the artery that kind of like swings around the back of the heart and kind of interfaces.
Was he hospitalized or something?
No, I think he went in and he was complaining. He was having a lot of indigestion, and he didn't know if they did I think they did an angiogram on him because he said they did a dye test on him, which is usually an angiogram, and it came back like that he had some kind of a blockage. And then he went to this Dr. Mark Hyman guy who has like a podcast, and I don't know, he did another test on him, and they said, no, it's not really a blockage. It just looked like a blockage. I don't know. All I know is Greg Doucette, Coach Greg, did a crazy freaking video about, he's always on top of The Rock with the steroids and everything like that. And, he's
so like Greg Doucette from Trent.
He's blasting The Rock, yeah. So, but, I'm sure whatever it is, I mean, I don't know. The Rock is making it seem like it's not a big deal. He doesn't have it. There's nothing really that's wrong, but it's always scary sometimes to find out something that might be wrong with you, and then you're like, uh-oh. Here I am thinking, and I know that I was watching the interview, and The Rock was like, they wanted me to take this medication. And I'm like, I'm on no medication, and so I don't want to take the medication because I'm on nothing, which is the first medication you have to take is always the one you don't want to take, right? Because it's like, well, I'm not on any of it. Once you're on one medication, they can throw a couple more in there. You won't care anymore.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny though that bodybuilders, and I'm not just, I consider The Rock a bodybuilder because he kind of trains like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders don't want to take like a blood pressure medication.
No.
But they'll take 14 different steroids, and aromatase inhibitors and T3 and clenbuterol and all the other stuff. But they won't take one medication that's prescribed by a doctor. I find that hard.
The blood pressure medication, Dave, make me flat.
Look, and I'm not going to mention the person, but I talked to one guy who I think the president's calling me. I think Trump's got me on the call. I talked to one guy who is in kidney failure now, and he told me, I said to him, "What do you think caused it?" He's like, "Well, the doctor said, I had high blood pressure for like probably the last 10, 15 years." I said, "You knew you had high blood pressure?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, why weren't you taking any medication for it?" He's like, "Well, it killed my sex drive. I had erection problems from it." So he wouldn't take the medication for blood pressure, Chris, because he was worried he wasn't going to be able to have sex with his girlfriend. God forbid he took a Cialis or something like that. So he let his kidneys get destroyed by that. I mean, it's the mentality of bodybuilders sometimes blows my mind.
Yeah, I know, but it's not exclusive to bodybuilders. But
no, but
that's our world, Dave. That's our little world. But people think that way outside of.
Yeah. I don't know. I trained Aman. This guy Aman works for me. Aman Kumar, he's a bodybuilder, but he works for me in the office. He does my operations for Species. And
is this a kid who used to live in? It's not.
Yeah, so he used to train me his son. Yeah, he used to train me his son. Yeah, and he used to work for Crunch. Now he works for me. So he's down here. He's like, "Dave, I want you to train." I know he's listening to the show too. He said, "I want you to train me legs," because he wants to bring his legs up. And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, good." So we met at the gym on Saturday, and I put him through. I did 7 sets with him. I did 4 sets of squats, and I did 3 sets of hack squats. And I said, "You do the extensions and curls yourself. I don't want to be bothered." So we went through the squats, and form was perfect. I made sure he was coming down under control, eccentrically. I made sure everything was spot on, and we didn't go super heavy, but we worked on form and everything like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go do some cardio now because I had already worked out. And I said, "You do your extensions and leg curls." So I go upstairs, I do like 20, 25 minutes of cardio. I come down the steps, and he's like aimlessly wandering around the gym. I'm like, "What's going on? You done?" He's like, "No, I got to do leg curls." I said, "Leg curls?" I said, what have you been doing the last 25 minutes? Chris, he was in the bathroom throwing up.
Yeah, recovering.
Throwing up. He said, "We only did 7 sets." Well, seven sets with the way I have you do 7 sets is obviously not the 7 sets that he was doing on his own. So form is everything. And you know what? The reason why I even brought that story up is because I've been watching the Nick Walker updates. Have you seen Nick Walker's updates?
No, I don't watch anyone's updates because I don't want it to interfere with I don't want them to live in my head.
Yeah. Nick Walker is looking enormous. And you know why he's looking enormous? Because he went back to his roots and he's been training like he used to train when we first saw him come up, and he was the big freaky guy. I think what happened over the last year or two before, remember when he had that kind of fall from grace a little bit, he missed a few shows. I think he just was changing his training up, and he wasn't, doing what got him here in the first place. I always remind people, I said, Ronnie Coleman was squatting, 700, 800 pounds a week out from the Olympia. All right. He never stopped squatting just because the show was approaching. If you're strong, keep lifting, because the lifting heavy is what got you the muscle to begin with.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you know how to train, if you train right, the muscle speaks for itself. Look at Nick Walker. I mean, he's back, bigger than he's ever been, freaky hard. I mean, you can't abandon the way you train. And you know what the truth is? If you're a pro bodybuilder, you should be working on the basic, heavy movements. You can do all the extra stuff in addition to that, but you got to do the basics. You can't stop doing the basics. I see it happen all the time. Michael Hearns.
I don't believe in anything outside of the basics. I'll never buy into anything outside of the basics.
Michael Hearn talked about this. I was watching a video he put up too, and he said, you know what? People ask me why I still have all the muscle I have. He goes, because I still go to the gym and I squat and I deadlift and I bent row and I do all the free weight heavy movements, dumbbell presses and barbell.
Greg did say that he used the rock cycle.
but look, even if a Hearn was on a ton of gear, it doesn't matter. You don't have that quality muscle if you don't train heavy, and use full range of motion and all the stuff that goes along with it. So I tell people the same thing. I don't lift as heavy as I did when I was 300 pounds, but I'm still doing the same motions in the gym when I go to the gym, because that's what got me here, and that's what's going to give me the fullest development. And it's also good for as you get older. You want to be able to balance things. You don't want to have to look. If you have injuries, that's a different story. But if you don't have injuries and you can do free weights, even if you're not lifting super heavy, free weights are better because of the balance aspect of it. And as we get older, we lose our proprioception and we lose our ability to sometimes balance. That's why older people they have falls, they break their hip, and usually that's how they die, believe it or not. So
that's going to be me. But go ahead.
No, yeah, but you were didn't you go to the what was it? The bounce park you went to?
I went to, but I didn't jump.
Why didn't you jump?
Because I just came back from vacation and running around with kids.
Yeah, you don't want to do backflips on the trampolines at the trampoline park?
No, I don't. I went there. I was so hot. I got a picture of it, Dave. I'll send it to you. I drank 5, whatever that. What's that iced tea with the? I don't know. It's like a high-end iced tea, or it's more expensive iced tea, fresh brewed. I drank like 5 of them. Each one had 170 calories. So that's.
Oh my god.
So that's 5.
Tons of sugar and caffeine. That's why you're so awake right now.
Oh, I'm.
You'll be up all night.
Yeah. I'll be up all night. I got to
drink too much caffeine. It's like your body is exhausted and wants to go to sleep, but your brain can't. That's the worst feeling of all time.
That's me on like a daily basis, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. What else? Speaking of energy drinks, there's a new study out. Let me see if I can pull that out. I feel like Blackman. Did you read the new study, Chris?
I may have.
Did you read it? What was the study you saw on energy drinks?
Let's see. Because I get like 10% dementia going, Dave. I need you to send me some creatine for the dementia.
All right, yeah, I'll send you some.
I was actually looking.
The new Stimulise Max is coming out soon. You'll love that. So
what is?
Our new pre-workout, the Stimulise Max. I gotta send it to you. I said it's like an antidepressant too. So if it doesn't wake you up, at least you'll be in a good mood.
Give me the study.
All right, let me give you the study. I'll give you the
on caffeine or energy drinks.
They did them on all these like top energy drinks that are on the market. By the way, Jack Owak's got a new energy drink.
Of course he does.
AI Energy. We're gonna get him on the show soon.
Dave, only Jack Owak would trademark AI Energy.
AI Energy, yeah. So
he's like 2 steps above Bleckman on the little slogan. Bleckman would be jealous of that.
A new study published in the Journal of Scientific Reports explores murine myoblast response to 8 different energy drinks in terms of enhanced or reduced muscle repair processes. And I will make things very easily so we don't have to go through all the details, but they say that energy drinks reduce muscle repair, which doesn't surprise me.
Dave, I knew you were going to say that. If you had quizzed me, like give me A, B, C, D, I would have nailed that.
Why do you think it is? Why do you think it's doing that?
I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I do know is that I know. Okay, stimulants burn fat, and they really do. Any type of stimulant will burn fat, and I've decided that they all, to some degree, eat muscle. That's my gut. What I've seen. So all the ephedrins, the cleanse, the energy drinks, they absolutely help you get leaner. And technically they should spare, right, the breakdown of protein tissue, right? Because if you're releasing catecholamines from a stimulant, by definition it's anti-catabolic because you're going to burn fat instead of muscle tissue. But I've come to the recent conclusion that stimulants And I like stimulants for myself, and they do work for burning body fat, but they always leave people who use them, to me, looking flat. And I used to think, well, it's because they're stringy, but I think it has something to do with catabolism.
Yeah. Yeah, they tested Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, and Celsius. So those are,
I love all those, but go ahead.
And they reduced the ability of the satellite cells, which are also known as stem cells, Chris, to turn into adult myoblasts or myotubules. In other words, it inhibits that repair process, which causes, a hyperplasia of the muscle cells. Personally, I always thought that the stimulants inhibited muscle growth by raising cortisol too much, because they stress the fuck out of your bodies. And by doing so, the stress hormones are catabolic. This study seems to suggest that they're directly somehow inhibiting that repair process. They're not really elucidating really exactly how it's happening. They're just noticing it. Now, this study was also done in vitro, which means in test tubes. So it wasn't really, they didn't really test it on actual bodybuilders. And so I would take it with a grain of salt. I think the take home message here, though, Chris, is exactly what I've been telling people for years. It's okay to have, an energy drink. It's okay to have a pre-workout. But if you're doing the stuff all day long and you're just slamming stimulants, you're going to lose muscle, okay? And you're not going to, and it's certainly not conducive to building muscle. In an off-season scenario, you should not be slamming tons and tons of stimulants. That's the worst time to do it when you're trying to grow. When you're trying to get ready for a show, I understand that there's a diminishing returns, but there's also, if you can't go to the gym and work out because you're so tired and exhausted, and an energy drink's going to help you get through the workout, there might be a benefit to that, right? Because you're not really trying to grow muscle in the pre-contest situation. You're trying to maintain muscle mass. So as long as you don't overdo it, I think the pre-workouts and the energy drinks are okay. Pre-contest, off-season, I would limit caffeine and stimulants as much as possible. If you did one, pre-workout before, a couple times a week, I don't think that's the end of the world.
How about a job like mine, Dave?
I think you're hopeless already, so you can have as many as you want. No, but I think too many, and even someone who doesn't work out, too many energy drinks can suppress your immune system almost. So that's not good either for immunity. But it's the whole thing about balance. You need balance in life, and I think just people get carried away with the stuff, and it doesn't surprise me that stimulants inhibit muscle growth. I mean, they don't do anything good for the body. They raise anxiety, they raise blood pressure, they raise
anxiety for sure.
Heart rate. So it depends on how your body handles it too. It's ironic that I don't really do a lot of stimulants, Chris. I never did, even when I was competing, aside from coffee. But when I had my DNA tested, I actually my body handles caffeine really well, according to the DNA testing. And I do notice, if I need to use caffeine because I'm driving across the state or something like that, I don't get jittery. I'm pretty good on it. You know what I mean? But I still limit it because I just know it's not good for you. So. In moderation, guys, everything in moderation. That's the best I could say. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right.
So what do you have coming out, David? Non-stimulant, stimulant, non?
No, the Stimulise has some stimulants in it. It's not. I don't put a lot of caffeine in there. There's under 200 milligrams. There's about 200 milligrams in there, but I don't. But it's mostly nootropics. So we put a lot of the nootropics in it, which help work in conjunction with the caffeine to give you a more focused effect, as opposed to just putting 400 milligrams of caffeine in it, which is just way too much.
Yeah.
Too much caffeine gets you nauseous too. A lot of people.
Oh, big time. I've noticed that.
More is not better. That's why, and I think that's Jack's whole thing with the new AI energy drinks he's coming out with. It's going to be more of a nootropic than a lot of caffeine.
Jack, I'll make a prediction. Jack will come out with this energy drink,
$1 billion,
and guaranteed he ends up making more money than ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. he'll be making billions again, and somehow he'll get to. I saw that he put something up where he wrote something like Dopa, like for dopamine, Dopa-Cola, like instead of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he did that purposely because like he remember the last time when he had a bang, he was fighting with Pepsi. So maybe now he's going after Coca-Cola now.
Dave, of course. Let me log back in. I got an emergency going on. Property emergency. I knew.
All right.
I'll call you right back.
All right. I'm gonna pull up some footage of Keon Pearson while Chris is logging back in. And this was from a guest posing he did this past weekend. The guy's a freak. If this guy doesn't go to the open class, he's crazy. This is just too good to be true here. So this is from, I guess, 2 years ago, guest posing, 23 versus 25 here. Oh, hold on, wait. That's 25 right there. You can see he's just bigger and more polished, and he does have a better tan, obviously, in this guest posing from 25. But this guy has put on an enormous amount of size. I'd love to see him in the open class. I think he's got probably the best genetics of anyone in bodybuilding right now. And the only drawback, obviously, is his height. But there's a lot of good short guys, Hadi Chopin and Derek Lunsford, and granted, you still have Samson Dowdas out there and Andrew Jack, but there's a lot of the shorter guys that are doing well. I think that one more year, maybe win the Olympia this year in 212 and then move up to the Open. This guy is ready for it for sure. All right, let's get Chris back here. All right, you're back, Chris.
Yeah, I'm back.
So we were looking at Keon Pearson, how insanely freaky this guy looks at this point. And did you see the guest posing footage?
Yeah,
that's from 23. That's from 25 right there. So
he's unbelievable.
23, 25. I mean, this guy's got, if he doesn't go to the Open, he's out of his mind.
No, he's going to Open 1,000% for sure, dude. Come on.
I mean, he really has no weaknesses.
No, he has no weaknesses. None. He has all strengths. Not only does he have no weaknesses, he has all strengths.
What does Jose think about him?
Incredible.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Like incredible. Same as me.
Yeah, I'm totally impressed. This is an interesting statistic that Muscle Insight put up. Hold on, I'm going to pull this up. Top paying shows. See that? In this year's Open division.
Yeah.
Lunsford won $500,000 at the Arnold. Dubai Pro, Behrouz Tobani won $140,000. Derek won another $100,000 in Pittsburgh. Yep. Walker won $30,000 in New York, and then Sampson won the $600 last year at the Olympia. We don't know you think the Olympia will still be $600, or will they raise it?
They're going to raise it for sure.
You think they'll raise it this year, or do you think they'll raise it the year after?
This year. 100%. Mark my words.
You know what? I don't know if I would raise it. I would wait till the following year. Arnold's hasn't raised the Arnold money until 2026. I mean, there's really no onus of having to raise it this year. I would save it for next year and then raise it even more.
Well, because Arnold raised it already.
Well, he said he's going to raise it for the 2026 Arnold. I mean, the 2025 Olympia hasn't taken place yet.
My guess is that I'm speculating, but they raise it up this year.
You probably might be right.
I mean, you want to be perceived as the number one show, and the only difference is the money.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Because you have essentially the same lineups: 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, whoever. I mean, look at the Arnold. The last 2 years, it was Hadi and Sampson, and then the Olympia was Sampson, Hadi, Derek, and then the Arnold was Derek, Sampson, Andrew. It's the same people, show to show, right?
True, very true. But did you see the new Superman movie?
I did. I wanted to go. I tried to calm the kids to go see that today, so I could either enjoy it or fall asleep. But instead, they chose the jump park. And I tried to tell them, it's going to be hot in there. It's going to be crowded.
Yeah, I would have tried to push for Superman too, yeah.
Legacy movie series. And they said, no, we want to go to jump park. So I should have said this. We're going to the jump park, and they would have said, "Oh, we want to go to the movies."
Right. You got to pull the old reverse psychology. I heard it was terrible, and you know what? Watching the coming, and I'm a Superman fan. Watching the coming attractions, I had a feeling it was going to be corny. There was too many jokes in it. Superman is serious. They can't be. You can't have chock full of jokes. And the problem is that the guy who's, the director of that movie, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy, and so that's like a funny. It's like a funny, Marvel, series. So you can't do that to Superman because then you can't take anything serious that's going on. And I watched the what's his name? Is it Ben Shapiro? No, not Ben Shapiro. Who's the other guy that I like? The other conservative guy. What the hell is his name? He did a review of the movie.
Don't tell me you like Ben Shapiro.
No, not Ben Shapiro. What's the other guy's name that's like Ben Shapiro? Now I got to look it up. Now it's going to drive me crazy.
Not Patrick Bet-David.
No.
Lonnie Teeper. I see he got an award.
Yes, he did. He got a Lifetime Achievement Award a few weeks ago. We talked about that. But
when I was on vacation, you talked about it.
I did, yeah. Chris was playing hooky.
Hookie's not even used anymore, Dave.
I know.
No
one even knows what hooky means. It's like nookie. Snooky.
Nobody knows what that means.
No. So yeah, I heard it was corny, and a lot of people didn't like it. I'm not even going to go. I refuse to pay money to go to the theater to watch Superman. What did this guy give it? Solid 7.4. I got a lot of people giving it like a 3 or 4, but Superman should always be a 10. Come on.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing worse when you're just remaking a movie just to remake a movie just to get money out. You know what I mean? Obviously want to make money on the movie, but you know what I mean? Just to
trying to make it like he's an immigrant.
Oh God.
It was too woke.
I was just going to say that would drive Romano crazy.
Can you just leave Superman out of politics, please? And just
between Romano and Jimmy the Bull, they'd have a field day.
We need another Superman remake, like we need a hole in the head. Why can't they? I loved Henry Cavill, the last guy, and the only thing I'm glad about with him not doing Superman is I hope they make him James Bond because I think he'll be a better James Bond than anyone else out there. He's just got the look, man. The guy was Superman. I always was a big Christopher Reeve fan.
Yeah,
and, man, Henry Cavill is Superman. That guy is like, I believe that he's Superman when I see him. I'm like, yeah, that's Superman. He's actually the only Superman that actually had a good physique too. That actually was shredded. I don't know if you saw it. They showed him with his shirt off in the Justice League. The guy was like peeled. You could tell he probably dieted his freaking ass off in that movie.
Well, he did diet his ass off, and then Greg Doucette found out that he was on TV and Clan.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of energy drinks too. I heard, Chris.
AI energy.
All right, so what's going on with your son? So we're going to be at the Masters of Teen Nationals this week, you and I.
Yeah.
Chris and I will be interviewing people, doing some wrap-ups. I'm bringing my my iPhone camera with my little wireless microphone. So we're gonna do some interviews, and I get to hang out with Chris for the weekend because really, if any of you have ever gone to a show and Chris is there, like with clients, obviously he's there with his son. He just sits in the hotel room the whole time, which is great because then. Yeah. We can have like coffee. And
this time I'll be in the hotel with my son, which is second year in a row, which is kind of we're not surreal, but as I'm looking at him, a picture of him when he was like 4 in a coffee shop with me on the other side of this iPhone camera hanging on my wall.
I'd love to be Jaws from James Bond. That would be my dream part. Remember Jaws?
Yeah, I heard.
Does anyone even know who that is?
I heard they cast you, Nasser, and the guy who got the job.
Let me see if I can find a picture of that, just for people who don't even know what we're talking about. He was the greatest.
I was thinking of that movie the other day, Dave. Remember when you saw the James Bond movie and he takes off on the end and no one had seen him really yet, the jet ski.
Yes.
it looked like a motorcycle on water.
Richard
Like nobody
Kiel.
really, right?
Wasn't he a bodybuilder, this guy? I think Richard Kiel.
I think I don't know what Lonnie Tipo would know, or
I think Mike didn't Mike Zeltzer have a pair of like jaws like that? He had a grill for a while that looked like that.
yeah.
I know. Mike watches the. Was it? I don't think that was Lurch who played Jaws. That was not Lurch, was it?
No.
No.
Forget the guy's name.
Richard Kiel, his name was.
Yeah, that's right. Richard Kiel.
Because I know the guy who played Darth Vader. I know that the Manions knew him very well. He was a bodybuilder. David Prowse.
Yes.
He was a bodybuilder.
He was a bodybuilder, and the original James Bond guy was not Roger Moore, but
Sean Connery. Yeah.
Sean Connery. Hates to be reminded, but
yeah.
I did check with Greg Doucette, and
I don't know who was more.
Sean Connery was natural.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know who was more disrespectful to women, Sean Connery or Nasser. It's a pretty close battle between the two of those guys. You heard Sean Connery said on some interview once, it's okay to give a woman a good smack once in a while. They need it,
Oh yeah. You can't say that. No.
Nasser just didn't respect anyone. He was like, remember they said they asked him in an interview like, who do you look up to? He's like, I look up to no one. I have no heroes. I looked up to no one.
The interview, the lady was trying to like build the cliche around people like to hear stories. I was a little kid and these were my idols, and some people don't have idols.
She's like, what do you eat during your contest prep? He's like, hold on.
Stupid question, he said.
This is a stupid question. I will not answer this question. I am done. He didn't want any part of that. It's kind of sad that everyone knows that Nasser's probably more well known for that interview where he was like, where he put down this woman interviewer than his whole bodybuilding career. His whole bodybuilding career was reduced to this interview with this woman where he said, I do not look up to anyone. No one impresses
me. Dave, when I met Nasser, he was at the New York Pro.
Yeah.
And I went backstage to see Mike Francois, who won it.
Right.
And I could hear a voice like in the pump-up room so loud and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Commentary, I'm like, who is talking?
He never stopped.
Loud. Who won't shut up? And I went like around the curtain to see who it was. And I didn't know who Nasser was, but I just saw like a giant guy. I'm like, holy smokes. Look at this guy. I didn't think it was someone with a killer physique.
Yeah. Chris, Nasser's the kind of guy, he would see you, you'd be like, hey, how you doing, Nasser? He'd be like, oh, Mr. Chris Aceto, it's nice to see you. I hear a lot of good stuff about you. And then you'd leave the room. He'd be like, he is a no good. He does not know what he's talking about. He is a fool. He thinks because he has gone to college that he is an expert in bodybuilding. Oh my God! Right?
Yeah. That's
Did you see I really feel like did you read? Did you see the Mike Sommerfeld, his final update before he starts contest dying? If this guy should be an open bodybuilder as well. I got to pull these pictures up. Maybe guy's unbelievable. I don't know how he makes weight and looks so good for that classic division. You got Ramon Dino. The guy is has to starve himself to death, dehydrate himself to death to make weight. I don't know how this guy does it. I'm telling you, he's got to have hollow bones. I don't know. How does he have so much mass on his body and he can make that classic physique class?
I don't know.
I would demand to see that scale if I were you, Chris. I can't believe that he makes that weight. He's unbelievable, this guy. Look at how much muscle he's got. He's high green from behind.
He's extremely impressive from all angles.
You know what's really weird? Usually guys with short torsos are not that impressive in classic, right?
Dave.
But this guy's waist is so tiny.
He's got a short torso. It should throw everything off, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's you know how I know that, Dave? When I first saw him compete was, or I remember like clearly like, wow, this guy's like a contender.
Yeah.
And people were like, no, he's not a contender. I'm like, I think he was either third or fourth 2 years ago. But he was like a distant third or fourth.
Yeah.
And when he first came on stage, I'm like, oh, that torso is going to kill him. And it like was the opposite. It worked for him.
It's unbelievable how he pulls it off, and he knows how to fucking show that body so well on stage. He's so good at posing. You think anyone can beat him? I mean, do you think he's the guy to beat? I mean, in the classic division, obviously we don't have a reigning Olympia.
He's a guy to beat because he was second last year, and
He won the Arnold,
you know, arguably, I mean, he could have won that show. I mean, and he was the winner at the Arnold. So, I mean, just it's not a math show, but you know, those are big factors, right?
Look at that transformation.
Hold up that one. Looks pretty damn impressive on both, even in the left. One was the left.
I'm trying to see what year that was. Yeah. He's not really saying.
Yeah, he's really good.
I don't know if this was from when he first started this year to the end of the off season. Maybe that's what that was. Pretty impressive though. He just looks like an open. He looks like Derek Lunsford. He's like an open bodybuilder. The guy. I mean, he's really impressive. I would like to see him go into the open just to see how he can do.
Well, he's got.
He's young still, you know.
You know, he's got a lot of muscle in that frame.
I guess he wants to win the the Olympia first, but I guess if you win the Olympia, it's kind of like, well, how do you like change divisions after that?
Well, that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? And I mean, you're not winning a division that people consider like I mean, all the divisions on their own right now. It used to be like, you know, if you move up to the open, it was like a big deal from the 212. But you know, Keon winning the 212, I know there's probably pressure, and I think he should go up to the open. But at this point, even if he strung together like 5 straight, there's nothing wrong with, other than not getting paid like he would in the open. There's nothing wrong with stringing together, you know, a legacy of wins, and people say that you're the best 212 of all time.
That's from last year. This is probably one of Bumstead's best, looks too. So, I mean, I think the little waxed mustache on Summerfield's fart beats Bumstead's little porn stash for sure.
Did he still have that mustache, T-Bum?
I don't know. I think he has a beard now. I like it better with a beard. When he has the full beard with the mustache, it looks fine. Summerfeld's just like Summerfeld can do anything. He's like a very creative guy. He's always like doing something like a little different with his look. So, but I mean, you could just look at the density of the muscle on Summerfeld. I mean, you could see Bumstead has a lot of muscle, but he's very tall. Summerfeld is compact. It's amazing that he can carry, or at least make it look like he carries a lot more muscle than he really does, because he only can weigh. I don't know what his weight limit is, but it's not a lot.
It looks like more muscle. Bottom line.
Yeah. It's like, and that's a good shot for Bums.
Even from the front. I mean, he's better.
Look at that shot. That's crazy.
Better. He was probably at the Olympia better from the front than Chris as well.
Yeah. If I showed you this picture and said, name the division this guy's in, you'd never say classic physique in a million years. If you didn't know.
Well, that's therein lies the fraudulent knock. Well, I make fun of him and call him summer fraud. but because people will look at that and say he's not classic because they're thinking like he's too thickly muscled for the division, and it's not that he's too thickly muscled at all. He still has, classic lines. It just happens that he has a lot of mass for those classic lines. I mean, you could say, he's too big for the division, of course, but Keon has classic lines.
Yeah, he does. He just in a million years he couldn't make the weight class though because
I don't know.
Probably 30. He's probably 30 pounds over the weight.
No, Keon is like what? Keon was like way under last year.
No, I'm talking about for classic.
Oh, yeah.
He's way under 212, but he's not under. His classic.
Yeah, no, I meant
blown past his classic. He probably has to weigh 176 pounds for a classic. If that, he probably has to weigh 154 or something like that, But it's interesting how all the divisions are coming closer to each other. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
212, the Open, the Classic. We're starting to see like a lot of like crossover potential that never was there when the divisions were first created. There was a lot of distance between all of them. And now they're kind of like, well, Sommerfeld can go Open and Keon can go Open. And,
people talk, Dave, about...
What's his name? Horse MD went back to Classic and qualified last week in Classic Physique. Yeah. So there's a lot of crossover potential.
Look at Derek came from 212. Hadi came from 212.
Right.
Who else came from 212 who's doing really good? Obviously...
It makes me believe that people are using these other divisions as stepping stones to get to where they want to go, or to see at some point to see where their physique goes, for that matter. Obviously, if you can go into the Open division and do well like Hadi or Derek did, you'd be crazy not to, because there's a lot more money in the Open division, and it seems like there's a lot more fanfare also in that division.
In the Open.
Yeah,
right. Well, there's more anticipation and excitement and hype about, simply because who's going to win it, as opposed to ask the question, who's going to win the 212? Right. We already know.
Yeah. But, that's why people got super excited when Bumstead said he was going to do the Open division, because, imagine Chris Bumstead with another 15 pounds of muscle on him in that Open division. He's competitive. He would have shaken up that division. It would have been like the craziest thing of all time. We would have been like, the speculation and the handicapping of that show would have been off the charts. So, but it just goes to show that the divisions are closer to each other than I think we anticipated, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, it was Bonac was the other super successful Open guy who came from.
Oh yeah, yes. And everyone said he was crazy. Remember when he went to the Open?
Yeah, I do remember when he went to the Open.
People said, "You're out of your mind." Well, he almost won the Olympia. He was second.
He won two Arnolds.
Won two Arnolds too.
I think he won how many? 13 or 10? He's won a lot of pro shows.
Just this year he placed top 5 at how many pro shows?
No, he's qualified. He won a pro show. He was top 5 at the Arnold. He was second in lots of shows.
He's kicking ass at his age too, which is great. I hope we see him at the Masters Olympia.
God, he'd be who could beat that?
Him and Brandon should be in that show. I don't. Do we have a competitor list for that yet?
Are you and Sid going?
No, I'm not going to Japan. Who the hell has the time? I'm going to India. Did I tell you I'm going to India?
You don't have time to go to the Masters Olympia, but you're going to India. Dave,
well, I have a distributor.
Don't you believe in those things? I don't want to jinx you, but I don't want to jinx you right on the show. So I'm trying to jinx you. So I do the back safe and sound. You say, see, Chris, you tried to jinx me on the show.
Yeah.
And I went to India and I came back and nothing happened.
I hope that's the case. It's the first time back there since 2012 when I tore my quad. So
what are you going back to India for?
I have an Indian distributor they're going to be distributing our products all throughout India for Species Nutrition. So we're going there for the launch in the beginning of August. That'll be fun. Men's bodybuilding, Masters Olympia, Kamala Gargni, Max Charles, Phil Klahar, Fred Smalls, Ken Jackson, Brian Garrison, Christopher Sullivan, Slavov Bednar, Brandon Hatton, Michael Eli, Hernan Tabaraki, Dorian Haywood, Ray Short, Vladimir Agrinsky, Daniel Hughes, Billy Bogue, Domenico Intermaggio, and there's a couple of additional.
Is that qualified or going?
It says, I guess these are qualified. So qualified athletes list. Yeah. I don't know who's going here. I have to, and obviously, what's his name can go if he wants. Brandon can go whenever he wants. I can't. I'm shocked that I don't see Bonac on this list. I would imagine if he probably contacted the promoter.
What's the prize money first?
Who knows? It's probably not enough to get a lot of these guys.
I mean, Bonac out of shape probably can. I mean, he's never out of shape.
It's a nice title to have. I think if in bodybuilding, I would like to have that medal around. To hang that medal on my mantle, please. Especially if I guess Brandon doesn't really need it. He already has a real Olympia.
We're waiting. You don't have the pro. Bob Chick says you don't have the pro card on the mantle.
I can't do it. Yeah, that's true.
So you're not allowed to have an opinion because you don't have the pro card on your mantle.
That's right.
You have just the species products.
That's right. I think for Bonac, I don't think there's probably not a scenario where Bonac's going to win the Olympia at this point. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but I would imagine at least a Masters Olympia title would be nice to add to his showcase. But maybe he figures, I can still do it next year or the year. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. The problem is, I don't know if this promoter wants to pay people's airfare and hotel. So I think a lot of these guys are saying, what am I going to do? I'm going to fly myself there and put myself in a hotel. It's going to cost me thousands of dollars to win the same. In other words, they're basically winning their expenses for the show. Yeah. And it's like, doesn't pay, so I understand that, Japan is not cheap. It's an expensive flight. Because I have a couple of women who had qualified and they didn't go. They're like, it's too expensive. I can't justify spending $10,000, between me and my husband to go to Japan to compete, and I really have no argument in defense of that. They're right.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Middle East. I don't know why we just don't go to the Middle East to do all these shows. I'm sure Bader could have found someone, or our friend in Qatar could have found someone to put that Masters Olympia on. It would have been super high end, but no one wants to listen.
No, it may happen.
No one wants to listen, right? I don't know why no one wants to listen. I would be, if I was. Hold on, I got to show you this, Chris, before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget. Did you see this lunatic posing? Let me put it up. Oh my God! Watch this. I can't play the music because it's copyrighted, but this guy looks like he's on like 25 lines of cocaine.
He's on Jack Owak's AI Energy.
I think this guy should be the commercial for the fact that too many pre-workouts and energy drinks kill muscle. He looks like an absolute lunatic, Chris, this guy.
It's peeled Christmas tree. Well, he looks like it's like a Russ Testo routine on crack.
Yeah. Russ, I got news for you. Russ Testo had a way better physique than this guy. Every time I saw Russ Testo, he was in amazing shape. He always had abs. This did. I don't know where I don't know where these guys. I don't know how these people have the audacity to get on stage to do this. But maybe, you know what? This guy figures I will never get any attention from anyone if I do this.
Listen, the audience either probably laughed or loved it. The sad part is it might be the latter.
Yeah, I think they. I don't know. I don't think they. I don't think anyone.
There's so many poor routines that when you see something just silly, people are so bored out of their minds at shows sometimes with bad routines or just lackadaisically put together routines.
Right. You know what? If I see someone do a crazy routine, though, that has a good physique, I'm more likely to want to watch. When I see someone who's not in shape, I mean, this guy looks like he spent way more time on his tan than he did in the gym. You know what I mean? And that's my problem with him. He's not really. He didn't do his. Now I know someone's going to tell me he lost like 100 pounds or something like that. I don't. I saw someone do a rant about this the other day, and I agree with them. Competing is a different thing than transformation. Like if you do a transformation on yourself and you want to put up a before and after picture and show how you lost 150 pounds, I'm the first person to applaud you and say, you know what, congratulations, great job. But when you get up on stage and you're going to assess your physique against someone else who busted their ass to get to zero body fat, and your body fat is still like 20%, you know, I'm not impressed. It's not to me.
I blame Vince Taylor for that routine.
No, but my point, Chris, is that I'm not one of these guys that says, "Oh, great job, so motivating," you know. And I don't know if the guy lost weight or not, but I'm just saying, even if he did, that's not motivating to me because he's on stage, he's being assessed by judges. What are the judges supposed to say? You know what? We're going to give this guy a pass because he lost 100 pounds, and we're not going to hold him to a higher standard like we would if we just saw some guy get up on stage and not be in shape, which is what this guy is. So
it reminds. So much is coming to mind. It looks like a guy who tried out for Chippendales and didn't make it. Got on Jacko X AI drink.
Yeah, he looked like he did like Chippendales like 25 years ago, though, Chris. And he's like trying to make a comeback, you know, like. And you know what? If he was in the Chippendale Review, I'd say that's where he belongs. You know what I mean? Because those guys are not totally shredded. You know, he'd be much better doing a strip routine for a bunch of fucking old women at a bachelorette party. I wouldn't complain one bit. But he's on a bodybuilding stage being asked to be evaluated by Steve Weinberger. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Send him down to Cape Coral, Dave, at the old folks' home.
Take him into the women's mental. What is it called? The dementia.
Everyone who retired from
the. I saw you 25 years ago at my sister's bachelorette party in Long Island. You know, at the Chippendales Review. Like I was there. That was me. And you got the same haircut. I recognize you.
What would NASA say if he was guest posing to that guy's routine?
If NASA saw that guy, he would. I don't even know what he would say, but he would be horrified.
You know, it would be funny, Dave.
Oh yeah. Yes, he has a genetic disease, Chris. He is a cretin, which means that his brain development has not taken place when he was in his mother's uterus, and when he comes out, if he is missing a chromosome, and we have to excuse him for this, but there is no excuse because they should not let him on stage because it is an embarrassment to the bodybuilding industry, and I am offended by his haircut because I have lost my hair.
It'd just be simpler. He'd say in Yugoslavia they wouldn't let him compete.
Yeah. It's one thing when you're like Ozzy Osbourne and they got to strap you into a chair and lift you up on stage for your final concert because you're a legend and you have Parkinson's. It's another thing when the guy's getting up there and he thinks he's doing some kind of like, 80s, Chippendale routine on stage.
He's doing the Ritalin Macarena.
This guy's great. He could be in the 21 Jump Street movie with Channing Tatum. John, that was a good one. That's the comment. I think at that point, I have to wrap up the podcast at this. But that was.
So when do you get in, Dave? So you get into Pittsburgh when?
I get in on Tuesday or pretty early. I think it's Tuesday morning somewhere. I think I have a direct flight there on Breeze, I believe.
Oh,
so I will be there, Chris.
Yeah.
We will have lunch together, and
yeah.
I'm going to be there with my friend John Frashoni, who's going for his pro card. He was so close last year. He got a bunch of seconds.
Oh, I remember when you were there with him. That's right.
Yeah. So we're going back for revenge. Plus, I have actually a lot of people I'm helping for this show, but John is my guy, and the good thing about John is when John brings me in for a show, he brings like tons of food, so he has meals. So we will not go hungry, Chris, if we're hanging around John and his wife.
You know what? Yeah, I'll eat any.
Sharon cooks better on a hot plate. His wife in her room than most people can do it in a master kitchen. You know? She made me a protein pancake. It was the great. I thought she ordered out to a restaurant. She cooked it on a little hot plate in the room. It was like Eduardo Correa. Remember Eduardo when he would cook in the room?
Oh yeah, it was yeah.
You thought you were at Emeril Lagasse's?
No, he used to. Eduardo used to put on the like chefs with a
he had like a little apron thing,
like an apron. Yeah.
He was so. It was so clean in his room. He would like cook and he was cleaning up while he was cooking, right?
Yeah.
Like if you or I took a frying pan and would cook in anything, the grease would be splattering all over the wall. It didn't even look like anyone cooked anything in his room. It was so clean. I think he brought his own Windex. He was shining up the countertop and everything like that.
Yeah, he had the cleanest and most organized in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I went into at the Arnold into I don't know if it was the same room, but Derek and Grego, I think maybe they had joining rooms, or I don't even know whose room it was. It was only March, but it felt like 3 years ago.
Right.
And they were there like 4 hours, and I came to the room and it looked like they were there for like 4 weeks. Food everywhere, supplements, clothes, non-training clothes.
The only person's room who is cleaner than Eduardo's was Guy's sister Nina.
No, Eduardo. It's so funny, Dave, because Guy's a clean freak, but he's definitely runner-up to Eduardo. But I will say this about Guy, and I told my son that. Guy, 1 year to the Arnold, in his room had a deep freeze. He had a deep freeze, like how they give you at the these little refrigerators with it can only fit like a pound of meat or something. He had delivered to the hotel room a deep freeze, like 6 feet long.
Oh, he got like a real refrigerator? What did he do? Rent it or something?
No, a real freezer. A freezer.
Oh my God. He's too much. Yeah.
Let me say this, Fareed, when he was.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, he's
what's he weighing?
He's 179, but here he's probably 188. So he's dropped 10 on that frame.
Oh wow. His physique and yours are so much alike. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's the more he develops, like the more it's like.
I totally see you in his physique.
Yeah, I feel jealous. I hope I don't sabotage him. This is a great right here.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
That was last week. Hey, you know what's so crazy, Dave?
Yeah. How old is he? First of all,
19. 19.
He's still a teenager. That's crazy. So what is he doing? Collegiate and teen?
Oh my God, he doesn't even know there's a collegiate.
He can do collegiate because he's in college. He's in college.
I will guarantee you this. What? I'm going to text him right when this show's over.
He doesn't know.
It never, because he's worse than me. He assessed tunnel vision, like the house could be burning down.
Right.
Get to the gym, he'd call the fire department. Great kid. Call the fire department and say, take care of the house. I get arrested. And I guarantee you that he does not know that there's such thing as a collegiate division.
Yeah,
I guarantee because he would have told me about it.
Yeah, he's got to make sure he signs up for it. I'm sure they'll let him jump into it.
What's sick, Dave?
Believe me, they'll take us $300. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't help, Dave, that when I dropped him off at college 2 years ago, that I said, do you get your food? Do you got your supplements? You got your weight belt? You got your training? I didn't say anything about you got your books, you got your pens, you got your.
Yeah, you didn't even ask yet.
Exactly. I didn't ask because I know it took care of the academics. But pathetically, where my mind is,
Well, I can't wait to see him out there. I'm glad I'm going to be there so I can see him in person on stage. Hopefully, if he wins, we can get the great interview with him after, and it'll be fun. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us live as always. And Chris and I will be in Pittsburgh all week long. I think the show starts on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. I'm actually leaving Friday. I have a couple girls coming on Saturday, but I'll check it out on Friday. I can't stay the whole weekend.
Neither can we.
No.
Neither can we. The only reason we had to come in on Monday, we're coming tomorrow, is because he made the tanning appointment. And I said, God, if you missed the flight for the
right. What day is he on stage? Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, and Thursday. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I will see you this week. As we say every week here at Heavy Muscle Radio.
The truth hurts.
See you next week. Hey.
Dave.